she's going to do. Yes, Tony. What was that about? Was some like mystical?
It was my aerial part of your world thing. Oh my goodness! Like I feel like, oh my gosh, why do I feel so unprepared? She's so dark. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
How you
Tony.
doing? See,
I'm
this is what happens. It's like Tony in the morning. Like, what's going on with the hat? It's just so much happening.
Well, you are our highest rated episode. The last one we did was our highest rated with Tony Moore.
Oh, well, I mean, she's just here for coffee and conversation, although she forgot the coffee part, honey. She just got water. She just has water in the morning because by the time did I say this last time? I might be telling the same joke, probably. But by the time I finish coffee, it's hot chocolate.
Actually, you didn't say it last time. You didn't say it last time.
I did?
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, new joke alert.
So Melissa, tell me, you said your mother and your husband watched and loved Tony?
Oh my gosh. You have new fans, Tony.
Oh.
Yeah, we sat down on the couch. My mom was visiting. So my husband Les and my mom, Terry, and I sat and watched our whole episode through and through, and they were laughing and having a great time. So
well, hi mom, hi Les. Wait, Melissa, you didn't have your hair down last time?
I didn't. I had it up.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. I love it.
I like it.
Oh,
it looks really
you.
Good. Yeah. I was like,
different look.
Well, good morning.
She's like giving you frozen tone. She's giving you some frozen realness in her hair.
Yes, she is. She's like Elsa. She's like, let it go.
Oh yeah, I did. I let it go long ago. Let me tell you.
Listen, let me tell you. I wish I could let it go, but I hold a grudge. Good for that.
We are salty over here. Melissa's beautiful. She has beautiful gray hair, and it's funny how some of the girls today are trying to make their hair gray, which is interesting. Now the young girls now.
Yeah, people just, especially in LA, they don't like to embrace the aging process. They want to listen. This is a death becomes her. Like you can't stay young forever. Like sometimes you just have to like take care of yourself and just let nature take its course. And if you leave things alone, you'll remain snatched. If you're pumping and pulling, eventually all that stuff has an expiration date. So you can go from here to here. So sometimes you just gotta leave stuff alone.
Yeah, but I think part of it's also genes. Sometimes you can fight as long as you can, but if your family they age. If you got that gene where you're gonna age too, gotta let it go. I mean, I looked out. My mother has no wrinkles. I look just like her, so I looked out. I totally looked out. I think
you did.
I did. No, I did. My father looks old. She doesn't. Rita doesn't.
Yeah,
so I think I lucked out. I mean, sometimes it's just genes. It's your genetics. You can, but drink lots of water, folks. Water. See, water's good. You drink water, Melissa?
Huh?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't sound confident. Do you drink water?
Yeah.
Sure, girl. I don't believe we're
talking. Coffee. That I can say.
There's water in coffee.
This is probably the only water I'm gonna drink all day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you don't like when I get thirsty, sometimes water is the only thing that quenches it. I don't want anything else. Is that what you mean?
I feel like the only time that I really do drink something is when I'm eating.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, like every now and then I'll be like, I just have like some water. But other than that, yeah. Is that weird?
No, well, my thing is, I was raised, I don't know how you were raised, you don't drink till after you eat your food.
Oh no, I drink while.
It was like you have your drink, your milk or everything was sitting there, or a Kool-Aid, they was sitting there. But you had to eat most of your food before you actually ate. They want you to get filled up with all the juice and the water. Don't you eat your meat?
Oh no, the eating food is like science. There's a certain chemical balance that comes with the mixing of food and drink. So you You know.
Mine is more at the dinner table, sipping a little bit of wine,
Mm.
taking some bites, sipping a little wine. When we were growing up though, no, we didn't. I was drinking and eating, probably always drinking and eating. The only rule that we had with eating or drinking was after we had to wait like a half hour before we'd go swimming because
that one, yeah, that one.
right. We didn't want to cramp up in the pool. That was the only food rule that we had, except like like you couldn't snack. Like we could not snack between meals.
Oh, you couldn't.
No. So we would sneak cookies.
Oh my God. I got the whole pool thing wrong when I was younger. So I took swimming lessons because I wanted to learn how to swim. And I thought you were supposed to eat before you got in the pool. So I ate a full-on meal.
Oh.
I almost believe it was like chicken and cornbread and black-eyed peas. And like I ate this big meal and then I went to my swimming lesson and I was like, and I'm just like, I think I did it wrong. Like I think like you're not supposed to eat before you swim.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know.
You're supposed to eat before you run. I say get carb up.
Oh,
No, because here's the thing. They say eat carbs for like I did 3 marathons, and they always told us the night before, get a big thing of pasta and like eat it because you'll burn it and help you give stamina and you'll burn it off as you run.
I don't know who told you that lie. Pasta don't give you stamina because my ass is tired after pasta.
It's like I'm telling you, it worked for me. I did it 3 times. It worked.
I'm not a marathon person. The only marathons I watch are Golden Girls. That's it. It's the only marathon I can do.
Melissa had a question last time. We talked about this afterwards. I remember this, Melissa, actually. I remember this last night about for you, Tony. We had you back on. Because we were talking about game shows. I think all of us have been on a game show. We've all been on game shows. Remember, Melissa? We've all been on the game shows.
I haven't been on a game show. They won't bring me on a game show. As I said to James, I'm too bland and boring.
What? I don't think so.
Oh, you're so sweet. But yeah, the producer's just like, no.
See,
the only interesting thing about me, Tony, was that I had an identical twin. And after that, it was all downhill and I was not on the show.
What show was it?
Oh my gosh, it was so long ago. CBS Studios. Maybe God, what was the show with $1 million? Like you can get on and answer these questions.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, that one. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh gosh, some of those people are not that this is you, but some of those people are bland and boring. So
no, what does that say about me, Tony?
Here's the thing that I have learned about game shows is that they do tend to go for very over the top excited people, right? And I'm naturally just like a very excited person. Like the first game show I did was The Price is Right. And when I went I woke up at 4:00 in the morning, got standby tickets, waited all day. But all day I kept practicing what would happen if I got called down. So like I was sitting with my roommate and I was like, okay, so if I get called down, it'd be like, Tony Moore. And I would jump up and be like, ah, and then I'd go, excuse me. And then like run down. Like I had practiced that all day. And then when I went because there's like a line of like producers casting or whatever, they take you by groups and they just point to everyone and you just kind of introduce yourself. They ask you questions and stuff like that. So I had on like my college shirt. So I think they thought I was still in college. And I was like, I'm an office coordinator and, I was just being me and stuff. And I got on. And then as I kept auditioning, because my plan was to do a game show a year so that I would win and I would always have money for the next year. That plan didn't work. But they always just want you to be super excited, all the time because then when you get in front of the cameras or the host or whatever, like they still want that same energy. They don't want you to lock up. So all that to say, keep going.
Thank you. Rejection in this world is tough, but I'm a puppy. The hard part about it is, like you said, the lockup. I totally relate to that. But also, I don't have the time. I to go audition and do all of that. I mean, you have to set aside real time to do all of this.
It's a lot. There's I think during the quarantine, I was always having like a Zoom call or something to audition for something. And I remember I was auditioning for The Circle on Netflix. It's the first like initial Skype interview. And I was just burnt out. I was like, I think I was tired of just, coming in with like all this energy and trying to sell myself. And it just wasn't working. It just wasn't clicking. Like the casting director was like, what's going on? Like, I know you and I know that you're this fun person and it's just not. And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, well, maybe we should do this another day. And I was just like, I just don't want to do it. I just don't, like, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to convince people that I'm fun and entertaining. And then I see the people you put on and they're not fun and entertaining as I could be. Damn it.
We did a show together. It was me, him, and Evan. And we were all going to do this cooking thing. It was like a run through or something, or whatever. And
yes.
Tony was picked with this chick, and you could watch, and I can see behind the scenes how this works. And this chick was so in her head, and they just want people just kind of just have fun. Like you tell, they want the couples to have fun with it. I mean, it's like it has to be super serious. I mean, like it's a fun concept. And Tony was like really into it. He was like, he just turned it on, and this chick was, he was just fighting. This chick was too much.
I almost got in trouble that day too.
Yes.
Because I pulled her aside and I was just like, I was trying to talk to her. And I remember the producer came over and was like, what's happening? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to get her to be her. She was like, well, no sidebars. And I wanted to look at her and be like, bitch, like if you want this pilot to go well,
right.
Like she's not being her right now because she's so in her head about making a good impression because she's thinking 10 steps ahead. She's like, oh, this is my opportunity to be in front of this network and da-da-da-da-da-da. And like, I'm trying to put my best foot forward. And we actually got in an argument a little bit because like, we had to do like a taste test and figure out what was in it. And she was like, and I'm like, this, like, spit it out. Like this is you, this is what you do. Like, what are you doing? It's so frustrating.
I was on Let's Make a Deal earlier this year.
You were?
And that was my first time on set since COVID started. We filmed it in December.
Taco James.
I was Taco James. I pulled on my costume, but it's funny because it was the whole, I had auditioned during COVID. The world was still going on in terms of they were setting stuff up for like later, whatever that was, even though we were locked down. Tony knows this too, because he went through it too. I was told, I auditioned for like 4 game shows. They all called me. I did the auditions here in Skype, even in my room, did all the paperwork, did all that stuff. And it was like, well, we're just waiting to see what happens. Like there was no productions happening. It shut down. So I got the call. I forgot all about it. They're like, hi, James Lott Jr. We're going to come on to Let's Make a Deal. When can you do it? I'm like, let's make a deal. I did. I'm like, what? Yeah, that taco costume you have. So I had to put the taco costume on with my tights and stand back here. I'm like, how's this look? And they're like, yeah, great, whatever. But I would tell you, it was an interesting experience because wasn't a full audience. We were in pods on the side of the building. There were a lot of things that were in place but they're hyping you up. And so you just it's like just be Tony said, just be present. Like you're there. Have some fun. Like everybody wants to win something, of course. I lost the first game, but everybody wants to win something. But it's like you have to almost forget about that for a second. Just like get into the game, get into the other. They had us contestants talking to each other beforehand, like hype each other up and get to know each other. And that was kind of like one girl from Inglewood, like I was, like, we go down, we start talking. They want you to just have fun. Because the camera, and Tony and I know this, and you're learning this too, Melissa, the camera doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
The camera shows if you're in it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It showed you. And I've done over 2,000 episodes of shows, and I can tell the ones where I'm not fully in it.
Yeah.
I can look at them and go, yeah, I did a competent job, but I could tell I was tired, or my mind was somewhere else, or I just wasn't, or I wasn't fully in it. I wasn't fully engaged. I could tell certain episodes. I'm like, I have couple episodes where I'm literally just sitting there and not hardly saying. Co-hosts are talking. I'm just like, I got nothing to give.
And they've done that.
I just want to go home, take my bra off, lay in bed, put my hair up, and watch TV.
Hey. That's my joke.
Oh, that's my joke too. I've been saying it for years.
I am really starting to be very suspicious that you're trying to single white female me.
Because our hair is the same.
Like you grew your hair out. You're starting to steal my jokes. Like I would like to go on record to say, if something happens to me, Tony Moore, please contact James Lott Jr. first, because he probably did it.
You know what's so funny, Tony? I thought of that movie the other day, The Single White Female.
Did you?
Yeah, I was getting dressed, and I don't know where I went with it, but you remember how she started dressing like her?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so, you get that double take, like, well, wait a second, that kind of reminds me of me, but you let it go.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the haircut. She's got the haircut and color.
She had the haircut. I mean,
I love that movie.
Listen, let me tell you, I have been eyeing James Lott Jr. for years now, because I'm like,
I'm your number one fan, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be just like you when I grow up.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing it. He's trying to Benjamin Button me. He's trying to reverse his age back, and he's gonna pull a Ursula and be like, now sing, and just like start sucking the soul out of me. You know what? I'm gonna start calling you Winifred. Winifred is trying to steal my soul.
Steal your soul. That's right, kids. I don't want to go. I don't want to grow. Back to our first conversation. I want to grow old. I want to stay young for the rest of my life. I'll take all the youngness out of you. Take it.
I gotta be careful.
your flawless skin.
I know. Let me tell you.
Listen, this ain't nothing but Dove and Vaseline. That's it. That's it. No other beauty regimen, no mask, no. Now,
Tony, it's funny you say that,
nothing.
Tony, because my Aunt Faith is 80 years old. We were talking about that the other day. She goes, I'm tired of people telling me not to have Vaseline. I always have Vaseline. I've been using Vaseline since the 1950s, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You just said that, Tony. It's so funny you just said that.
Well, I should Vaseline lotion. That's what I use.
That's right.
It's not the same thing, Tony.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, basically.
It has Vaseline in it.
Yeah, it does. Kind of.
In the lotion form, not the petroleum jelly. Listen, let me tell you, if I was using Vaseline, I would look like the only piece of chicken before it's dumped in Crisco, like just greasy. Like you look at me like, are you sweating? Like, what's happening? Are you okay? Yeah, that would be me.
What do you do with your skin, Melissa? You have good skin. What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, first, I discovered that I can alter the picture on Zoom. So took advantage of that.
I can tell he's like, oh.
Took advantage of that real quickly. No, I have skin issues. So I use La Roche-Posay. They have this great line for rosacea, skin. And so I've got a great foundation that I've worked on, and so I get to hide all of the red stuff.
Did you always have that? Like even
No.
growing up?
No, it came on late in life, like everything else.
Oh God.
Let me tell you, Tony, we're talking about aging and doing it gracefully. That's a lot of work. Like
Oh,
you
it's a lot
really
of
have
work.
to commit to being graceful.
Yes, it's a lot of work. Trust.
I mean, listen, I wake up and I'm just like, what is this, honey? Like, what is going on? Like, oh, why does that hurt? I literally, so like I've been having knee issues
Oh, there you go.
and got an MRI done, realized that I still haven't heard back from the MRI for my knee. And as I was laying there, I thought to myself, wow, this is where we are. MRIs to find out why your knee is hurting.
Welcome to the club.
But yep, welcome, Tony.
I feel like there should be some sort of
what,
like pamphlet,
flyer,
class, something that welcomes you to like a new decade of age and what to expect and how to prevent it.
You just keep coming back to the conversation and
Yeah,
we will
we'll fill
get you
you in.
there.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
fill you
get you
in.
caught up.
Yeah, we'll get caught up. It's all what to expect when you're expecting that kind of thing. I guess
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, you're 40, so here's what's gonna happen. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but you know.
But I'm getting close to it. Oh my God, I'm getting close to it. But so like I need the pamphlet to be like, okay, hey, this is what your 40s are gonna be like. Like
right.
where like a reevaluation. Like, you know what? Just like you get work evaluations, I sometimes wish like the angel that created you would come down and be like, hey, okay, so let's reevaluate things. Here we are. You're in your 40s, and this is what to look out for, you know? And then they just like, all right, you know, you're doing great in this area. You need some improvement in this area. Here are some suggestions. All right. And then they just float back up.
You know what mine would be, just like I was a kid? I get like all A's and then he talks too much in class. That'd be my whole thing.
Oh my God, I got that too.
Me too, Tony, me too. I go, ha ha, teachers, look what I'm doing now for a living. Ha ha.
Right. Did you get that too, Melissa? What did you get?
I did get it in one class because they sat me next to my best friend and we hated it. And it was something in the sciences. Well, the teacher was just not nice.
Oh.
No, I was a good girl in school, mostly. Until I got to high school, and then I got caught doing things like smoking in the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't a like I was.
Come on, Tony, tell the truth. You know, the little stories.
I would say kindergarten through about third grade, I was a little rough around the edges.
Oh, really?
And then I smoothed out. Yeah. Oh, my thing.
Though, like, give us an example. What's rough around the edges in kindergarten?
Kindergarten. Okay, I think this was kindergarten, or maybe this was preschool. They forgot my birthday.
Oh no!
And I was not having it.
Mm.
So I ran all throughout the classroom. I eventually flipped the table.
Okay, Teresa.
Right. And I remember the principal bringing me into the office. I still remember this very vividly. Principal bringing me into the office, explaining to my mom what they'd done, what I did. They were very sorry for forgetting my birthday. She handed my mom money to get me a Happy Meal from McDonald's. And I thought mission accomplished. My mom whooped my ass for acting a fool.
Of course.
In that classroom.
Yes.
And I remember sitting there crying with my Happy Meal, trying to eat my chicken nuggets. Because of course, classic mom is like, stop all that crying. I'm like, you just whooped me. You just whooped me. So that was like kindergarten. And then I think it was third grade. Third grade, I did this thing where like I would get up and leave the classroom.
Oh.
Like if there was an issue, I would just get up and I would slam the door. That was my thing. That was my dramatic exit. So yeah, I smoothed out eventually.
Yes, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
I was a smart ass kid. I talk back to teachers and stuff. And the thing is, I always said, James, you were so self-sufficient as a kid. Because you were very much James Lott Jr. then, wherever that was. That if I got in trouble, I take myself to the principal's office. So I'll just get up and go to the principal and say, "Oh, you don't like me and you got my nerves." I just get up and go to the principal and say, "Okay, this is what happened." And tell the principal what happened. They go, "James like a little man. He come in here to tell us what's going on, and yeah, he's in trouble because he did do that." But he took it. He said he did it. He admitted he did it. And he was just like, "Yeah, I did it." So I guess how I was. I guess I was like, "I'll handle it myself." That's how I was as a little kid.
I couldn't even tell you where I would. I don't know where I would go. I think I would just sit out in the hall, or I would go to someone else's classroom. I would never go to the office. That's like telling on myself. Oh,
I did. Well, here's the thing, Melissa. In high school, in sophomore year, I had to work in the office. They asked these little things where you want to work in the office, you get credits or whatever.
I did too.
Yeah, so I don't think they do that anymore, but we used to work in the office. So I'd write little pink slips to get my friends out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's so funny you say that. This was in junior high school. I worked in the office in junior high and high school because the idea of knowing the administrators usually worked in your benefit if you were a good kid.
Yes.
And I have a funny story because I will relate back to the getting caught smoking thing. But I was in junior high school and I don't even know what came over me, but they had these hall passes.
Yes.
And I just like took some.
Mm-hmm.
And I got caught. And the administrator was so upset. Everyone was so upset because they knew it wasn't like me. Yeah. It had to be someone else. So the principal and vice principal grilled me. Who asked you? Like, who in your circle asked you to get those slips? I'm like, crying. Nobody. I don't know why I did it. I just did it. They didn't believe me. It had to be an outside influencer who made me take those slips.
That's hilarious.
I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And then when I got caught smoking, okay, the PE teacher was a nasty person. She just was super hateful. Okay. So she caught me and she grabbed me by the wrist. I don't smoke anymore. I smoked for like a hot minute, but grabbed me by the wrist and dragged me to the administrative office. Now, which is on the far side of the school. The whole way there, she's telling me how much trouble I'm going to get into. And I kept laughing to myself, not her, thinking, yeah, wait and see. So she drags me into the office and I was the TA for the vice principal.
Oh, dang.
And we ran right into her and the dean in the hall and she started going off. She was smoking in the bathroom and I caught her red-handed. And Miss Ambrose was like the most beautiful administrator, by the way. She was fabulous. She goes, okay, we'll handle this. And the teacher spun around and walked out and gave me this little smirk. And Miss Ambrose turned to me and she said, don't ever get caught again.
Don't ever get caught again, I bet. Don't ever get caught again.
And that was it. Yeah. Good to have friends.
Oh, yeah.
In high places.
Very high places. That's,
So I don't even know if they do that anymore. They probably stopped all that a long time ago. We had no students being I mean, that was a big deal to work in the office. And I forgot how I got it. It was a big deal. And so I could get hall passes and get people out.
Yeah.
And of course, go to back to the school or whatever.
I never worked in the office, but I do remember collecting the attendance folders from classes.
Oh, okay.
Which worked because, honey, I would put on a cute outfit, go to all the classrooms and be like, doot, doot, doot. I remember because I was always very experimental with my hair. And I remember I got braids and I wasn't like fully comfortable with like showing everyone that I had braids.
Oh, wow.
So I remember I walked into, her name was Miss Meldrum. It was her math class. Ironically, it's also a math class that I got in trouble in because I threw a book at someone. But yeah, well, he shouldn't have called me like, I think he called me a fag or something. And I was like, I remember walking into her class trying to get her attendance folder and it was cold, so I had my jacket and I had my hood on, but it was inside the building, and she was like, Tony, you take that hood off in school. And I was like, yeah, okay. She's like, no, you need to do it now. I was like, trying to like, because I didn't want anyone to see my hair. And someone was like, why are there little squares in your head? And I was like, don't worry about that. Worry about what's going on up here.
Yeah. I mean, hair is a big deal for me growing up. It was always a big deal. I mean, everybody's hairstyles, right? Melissa, it was a big deal. It was always like anybody's hairstyle.
Yeah.
You wanted to show it off. What'd you get? Did you get the latest hairstyle? How's it look on you? I know. So for me, in junior high school is when Jerry curls came.
I had a Jerry curl.
Did you really have one? I didn't get one. My barber at the time said, "James, you have good hair. Don't do it."
Huh?
He said it would break my hair off in the end. He said, "Don't do it. It's super greasy," which is so true. I remember members only jackets, and my friends had we all wet in the back because of that. And everything said, just don't. But I liked the way they looked. I liked the way they looked. I didn't have curly hair, so I liked the way they looked. So I never got one. But he stopped me from getting one. I wanted to get one. He said, "Don't do it, James. Just sorry, you have straight hair. That's how it is. You got to let it go." And so I didn't do it. But I remember I wanted one so bad. But I didn't do braids at that time yet either. I was mostly fro, short fro, shag, reverse shag, high top. And I was doing all that in the 80s. I was doing all that. I was any variation.
In the 80s when you were like a full-on adult, you changed your hair a lot?
So yes, I was a full-on adult from 87 to 89, yes. But the rest of the time.
James.
I remember Melissa's the same age as I am. So whatever you say to me, you're saying to her too.
No, Melissa is a young, beautiful woman who was not seated next to Noah as he gathered the ark.
I'm only two. Sorry, giraffes. Only two.
Yeah.
Not three.
Yeah.
Not four.
Yeah. I always tease James about that. Any chance I get, I'm always like talking about, well, girl, you started off with stone tablets.
Now I'm going to think everybody teases about age. No, here's what's funny. So I did a show on age recently on my JLJ this morning, which you guys can catch out here on JLJ Media. People ask me, why do I talk about my age all the time? I said, because Hollywood, it goes back to our beginning of our conversation. Hollywood wants to shut me up about my age. They don't want to hear about my 50s. They don't want to hear that. They want you to go, my internet age is 39. They want you to play out. They're so busy trying to make us all feel, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, make you feel like you can't be your true age. You can't talk about it. Youth is everything. I would never want to be young again in terms of age. I would never want to be 21 or 35. I would never want to. I have grown since those time periods. Yes, there's more problems as you get older, but I talk about age on purpose just because they tell me not to. So it's like, I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna just show you that actually, we joke around and stuff. And I tell people sometimes, Tony's so mean to you. I'm like, no, we're joking. It's like, this is not for real. It's like, we just, we talk crap to each other. That's what we do. But I know
because James is aware that he's old, so I'm not saying anything that's untrue.
He's comfortable with being older.
I am.
No.
I am. I know I am. I mean, seriously, I made it. I mean, listen, we made it, girl.
Right. We talk about being grateful.
Yes, we're grateful all the time.
At this stage, Tony, you're grateful for arriving at this age.
But is there, because oftentimes I think this, like sometimes I wish the person that I am now, I could go back and instill who I am now into the person I was before. Do you all ever think about like a time that you could go back and just kind of have a mini redo, like as the person you are now, but go back to when you were 25 and like go, okay, like I'm gonna take this spirit and like put that in that 25-year-old so we can make better choices. So when we get to this age, we're even better.
Yeah, I was 16.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's fast, Melissa. You're like, yeah, I know what age. I know what age. You're all 16.
There were actually two key moments at 16 that I would go back to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What are they?
Oh, can you say?
I don't want to say.
Like,
they were that life altering and not in a really great way. So yeah, it took a lot of rebuild. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. It took a lot of rebuilding after those two decisions were made to get where I am today. So I just made it easier on myself.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's definitely some times in life I wish I could go back and go, see, now I know. I mean, mine are all shady, of course. I want to go back to some shady moments. I want to be able to tell somebody off the right way, or the right way, because I was young. There were times I didn't know stuff. It was like, now I was going to go back and say, okay, now I have the right answer for you, that kind of thing. And also, and on a semi-serious note, my father's stuff. I wish I knew now, instead of wasting 20 years fighting with him.
Mm.
I wish I could go back and go, okay,
That kind
I
of
get,
stuff.
well, I can understand this is who you are. I should just know this is who you are. Don't try to change him into what you want him to be. So I wish I could go back like at 21 or 20 and go, okay, now I know what's going on. Go ahead, James Senior, you do you. And then I would be actually, I think I'd probably be able to be a lot different. I think on some level. I would love to go back and do that. Just again, then say, okay, it saved me a lot of heartache actually. It probably would have saved me a lot of heartache in my relationships, because I feel like it affects everything. I think I would love to go back and say, okay, James Lott, young James Lott Jr., don't worry about it. It's gonna be, just forgive him now, forgive that, and go about your business. I
think that opportunity might be wasted on my 16-year-old self who knew everything then and was listening to nobody. So I don't know that it'd have been, if I had the opportunity, I don't even know that my 16-year-old self would listen.
What a trip, though. It's a trip.
I wish I could go back to when I was 18.
Okay.
I think because 18 is when I started going out to the clubs and all of that. And I think it's such a pivotal moment because I think I lost some of my confidence during that time. So I wish I could go back and kind of like tell myself, no, don't let these bitches out here make you feel less than, because this is something that you're going to deal with even 20 years later.
Yeah.
Like right now in this moment, know that you are amazing, you are strong, you are, good looking, you are talented, you are all these things that people will consistently tell you that you're not.
And that's my 16-year-old self to touch on that. Yeah, that's where I was a couple years ahead of you, not in the clubs, but just in life experiences that I went through that whole phase with you and that rebuilding thing. I had gone back and said, wake up. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. There's several decisions I would not do. There's some things that were obviously just out of my control. They're just out of my control. But there's certain things I would not do. I would like say, stop, don't do it. Don't do it. It's gonna be okay. Don't do it. It's not gonna end well. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So
there's some things I would have said, go ahead and do that. Stop overthinking it. Like, go ahead.
Well, there's that too. No, there's that too. There's that. Yeah. A couple opportunities I wish I could have taken.
Yeah.
I overthought everything. And there were like, I'm the person who doesn't realize the opportunity until they're in the car on the way back home. And I'm like, oh, I missed that. Well, damn. And still all these years later, I still, well, I missed that. Well, damn. Yeah.
And on that note, we're gonna end the show because we end the show. This is 40 minutes. It's good, folks, kids. This is
good talk. This is good talk.
Good talk. Well, Tony, you're welcome anytime to come back on. So thanks for coming back on again.
Yes, I don't mind talking in the morning. Just chatting.
Well, tell them where they can find you.
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony.
Perfect. That's it. Just like that. And this is Coffee and Conversation with James and
Melissa.
And you can follow us on all streaming services everywhere you find your podcast. And of course, we're on my online network, JLJ Media. Make sure you subscribe because I have other shows besides this one. But you can catch all our previous episodes, even the one where Tony was on recently. Go ahead and check those out in the playlist that says Coffee and Conversation with James and Melissa. Made it so simple for you. We're spoon feeding it to you. That was
to where someone will still message you and ask you where can they find Coffee and Conversation with James and Melissa.
They still ask sometimes. I still do. But we forgive you and we love you, and it's be fine out there. So we'll support you and get you in the right direction. That's right. And we'll see you next time. Talk to each other.